Of those people dodging your lenders right now, please call them up today and apologize, and then ask for a different payment plan that you can manage more effectively. It is so important to be in control of your debt, so try to deal with that as the first. You can't even start saving without dealing with your debt and bringing it under control. When it comes to saving, we all need an emergency fund. You've heard about an emergency fund, which is something about 6 months of expenses that must be kept in a money market short-term account that you can have easy access to. We all need it. Even if the interest rate doesn't pay you a huge amount, you need those savings. Things happen. A few weeks ago, one of my aunts was ill. We were all levied. I don't want to sell shares to pay my share. I have to just send some money from my bank account to assist with the expenses. So you need that. Something happens to your car, your generator. You know, we always have emergencies here, so it's important that you have some savings. Look at this interesting slide. This just talks about the power of time and the power of compound interest. It's fantastic for young people. If a 25-year-old invests in a deposit, just a deposit, at 10% per annum, by the time they're 60 years old, it will be about 149 million naira. Now, of course, there's devaluation, there's inflation. We're not counting any of those. I'm just looking at it in the bare numbers. If you're 40 years old and you started to do the same thing, 500,000 a year, so it's about 50,000 a month, it comes to 32 million. You can just see that the huge difference of the power of investing when you're young. Now, of course, you're not going to just put it in a deposit. You'll be buying stocks, you'll be buying mutual funds, you'll be buying property. So you can imagine the impact of saving when you're young. So please, if you haven't saved yet, you must start with, first of all, the emergency fund. Start with having at least 6 months of your expenses tucked away in a money market deposit account. Now let's talk about investing. To me, you are your greatest asset. There's no investment that surpasses investing in yourself. So who are you? What is your purpose, your values, your reputation, your goals? Where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? Do you develop yourself? Do you read widely? Do you educate yourself? It truly is the most important investment of all. Each of us, I feel, has at least one or more unique God-given talents. I know it's Workers' Day and we're celebrating workers. Many of you may not have a job. There are very few jobs out there. But what have you done about your own unique God-given talent? It really is what you can use to change the world. What are you passionate about? What are you exceptionally gifted at? What are your hobbies? You might be an engineer, but are you brilliant with computers? Are you great at teaching music? Are you good with singing, dancing, writing? What can you do? Are you great at graphic design? You know, those things that you're passionate about are what you can use to propel you to greater heights. So sometimes unemployment can be that platform, that push that someone needs to really propel you to greater things. You have to look inwards. It's your responsibility to find your God-given talent, identify it, nurture it, utilize it, and leverage on it. And if you have children, please look out for that talent as early as possible. You can spot your child's talent from the time they're 3-4 years old. You need to put some investment in it. It is so important because you are really giving them a huge advantage. If your child is showing incredible skill in music, in football, in mathematics, whatever it is, zoom in on that and try and give it all you've got. It'll be amazing what they can do with it later on. Every day we see young people, articulate graduates. Your degree does not owe you a job. It is so important that you realize that. When I graduated, it was almost automatic. I would get a job. That is not the case now, and that is okay. So don't feel that anyone owes you a job. Maybe it's time for you to create jobs for others. It's so important that you change that entire mindset and look at employment and entrepreneurship. You have the skills, you have the tools, and it comes from developing yourself, cultivating a network, trying to ensure that you always are able to add value. You need a side hustle. What is your side hustle? Do you have one? It's so important. Don't let your talent or side business be left to waste. At the same time, if you're employed, be very careful about conflict of interest and don't let that make you lose your job. Now I'd like to talk about some of these opportunities that there are in terms of what you can do with your time. Are you good at public speaking, cooking? Are you good at acting, drama? Just think of what it is. What do people see you and say, oh, you're so good at this? They keep coming to you for advice. Are you good at business planning? Can you do people's business plan? These are all ways that you can use to earn additional income. Relationships are critical. You need to invest in relationships. Someone once said, surround yourself with enablers and rid yourself of disablers. It sounds a little mercenary, especially if some disablers are members of your family. So you've got to be conscious. Try to be with people that propel you forward, that motivate you, encourage you. We all know when we're around people that drain us. You don't want to spend so much time with people like that. Spend time with ambitious, motivated people and limit the time you spend with those that discourage you. Peer pressure is very, very real, especially in your generation. Our society is full of issues of conspicuous consumption. There's an obsession with impressing others. I'd implore you to just stay focused on your own path. You have your path written down, so don't be distracted by what others are doing. The Joneses are broke. They are so broke. And if you pursue the Joneses, you will end up broke. I'm seeing too many young people who have had this incredible education, but they're back home and dependent. You don't want to be like that for too long. I know things are difficult, there's a cost of living that's very high, but you owe it to yourself to earn your independence. And if you are from a wealthy background, you need to be particularly careful. With privilege comes many advantages, but there's also a huge disadvantage for many families where the wealthy parents are overindulging their youth, their young people. Now, this makes you unemployable. It makes you unable to work hard. It makes you unable to sustain a job. So it might seem very nice to be born into wealth and to have so much largesse, but it can destroy your future. So for parents who have a lot of wealth, be very, very careful. And for the young people here with young families, as you create wealth, just remember that. You find that many of the most successful people all over the world were not born into wealth. So you've got to be careful to ensure that you don't damage your children while you're trying to give them the best that you can and better than what you had yourself. So be mindful of privilege and overindulgence and earn your independence. After the wedding comes the marriage. I've been to so many weddings in the recent past, and it's quite staggering. Huge weddings. And sadly, within a year or two, it's all over. So it's like we're very, very consumed by that day, and not much thought has gone into time afterwards. Are you in a serious long-term relationship? The choice of your spouse is the most important decision that you can ever make. It is so important to take that decision very, very seriously. For the ladies here, for the young ladies, I know you are under incredible pressure. As soon as you finish